Okay, I think we're live. Okay, welcome to another pop-up live stream. Let me just expand some of these windows. Okay. Alright, so today I'm going to be demonstrating some of the new updates I've done to an old Vest Generator HDA that I had released before. So there's a lot of updates to that one, and I've added a pants generator and also a long sleeve shirt generator and a t-shirt generator. The t-shirt generator relies on so some of these are the t-shirt and the shirt and the vest are all bunched up into this one folder categorized into the vest generator because it's like the top. I am planning to rename some of the generators and do a cleanup, but for now I think I'll release it as is because it's functional right now, and I've been working on it for a very long time. So I wanted to release something to show you what I have and get some more feedback from everyone. And if anyone has any ideas they would like to pass on to me, it would give me an opportunity to implement any feedback that I get into the next version, which would be coming pretty soon, because I'm planning to clean this all up too. So, and I also haven't released the body generator that I have shown you in the last live stream, which I was planning to do some more updates to it before releasing it, but I think right now I'll release it as is because it's tightly integrated with the pants and vest generator. Like, you don't have to have it to use the clothing generators, but it's nice to get something really quickly. If you just wanted to test out the generators and you just needed a character on the fly, the body generator is perfect for that. So I'm going to be uploading these after this live stream, probably maybe tomorrow-ish or next, give or take a couple of days, depending on if I find any bugs or see anything I want to add in last minute. But it will come soon, right after this live stream. So this live stream is about demonstrating on how you can use these generators. Like, it gives a little bit of tutorial instructions so you won't get totally lost. So let's start by installing them. Now, I will be releasing the generators, the HDAs, in bundles. So there would be like the body generator will be a zip file on its own. The pants generator would be a zip file on its own. So this would be like in 3 bundles or more even. So I might just put all the clothing generators in one file, depending on how big this is. Let's see how big this is right now. Oh, that's not too bad. Okay, so I can just bundle all the clothing generators all in together. Okay, so let's start by installing all these generators first. So let me do that again. So come over here, assets, install asset library. So I usually just like to install it to this current hip file just because I do have multiple versions, and I don't feel good installing it into the main Houdini library, which will exist for all instances of Houdini. So right when you open it, it will be available. If that's something you like for convenience, then just click on scanned asset library directories. But I just like to install it just on the hip file. That's just my preference. So let's install all the character generators. Install. Okay, so that's in. Now, how do I check if it's in? Drop down a geometry node, type in character, and these, okay, character gen, okay. These are all the HDA nodes that I've just installed. And I'm gonna use the same character that I did in the teaser video that I had released yesterday. So we're gonna put some clothing on this guy. So I haven't made a randomized feature for this, like the head. Like the head generator, I had like a randomizer, so you can get like a different head for every single with a click of a button. Like if you have input a different seed value, you would get a unique different head generated. I was going to do the same thing for the character generator, like the body generator. If you put in a unique seed value, it would spit out a different character. I haven't done that yet. I got a little excited with the clothing, so I jumped ahead to the clothing right away. But let's install the other generators first. Okay, so there's the body. Let's do the pants. Okay, there's the pants. Stick that in, install that. Now I'm going to install the vest. So that's the shirt, t-shirt, vest, and everything. Okay, so let's just check if it works. Pants. So these are the two ones for the pants. And then the vest. Here's the vest. And there was like a shirt. Here's the shirt. And there's one for the t-shirt. Now, see, this is why I want to rename this. Just because I want to be able to type in one thing and have all of my HDAs come up. I'm thinking of maybe prefixing it with a BP for bubble pin. So all my HDAs would come up, because it is the list of HDAs I've been creating has been growing. For example, I have that lip sync HDA. I have the city builder HDA. If anyone remembers that from months ago. There's the head generator, now the character generator, and now we have clothing generators. So the list is going to keep adding on. Okay, let's start with creating pants for this guy. So I'm going to follow closely to the teaser video. Okay, now this is very similar to how the vest generator worked in the past. I have a pants generate patches. So if you know how the vellum simulation works in Houdini with clothing, you need to create like your clothing design patterns. So which is like your pattern, your patches, your clothing patches, and then you have to sew them together. And the sewing together part is done with the vellum solver. These HDAs are to simplify the whole workflow, so it makes the whole thing a lot faster. I have predefined design patterns for the pants, so you can just adjust a few parameters and it'll just spit out the whole thing. Now here, however, I need some information into the HDA before it knows where to put the pants or how to cut the pants. I need to know the hip and the leg mesh, because this is pants, so I need to know where the legs are. And then I need the character geometry, which is just this. This is our character geometry, and that will be used for creating collision, for the collision geometry. Now, I can't just directly feed this in, because I only want the pants. This is the entire character. However, this is a character generator that I created, so I know exactly where the legs are. I just need a little bit of help from my other HDA I created. Character gen. So I go isolate left leg. Now the character generator has a ton of nodes here. Don't get overwhelmed by all these. Because this one all the way over here to these are all helper nodes. So all the ones that you really need to be using are just generator, or these ones, these three. Now I am going to rename them. So this one, I'm probably going to rename it to something else that will be a little bit easier to find. So everything will be grouped. Your voice is killing me. I'm so sorry. Is my voice too low? I am feeling a little sick, not too well. Let me grab a glass of water. Okay, I don't know if that helps. I cleared a bit of my throat. Oh, okay. Well, I think it's just I'm really we've been getting a lot of wacky weather in Toronto. It's like cold, warm, rain, and then it's so random. My body can't take that. Okay, well back to this. Right, to isolate. So I need to tell my generator where the legs are. So I created another HDA for that. The character gen isolate left leg. So this node only works with the character generator, with this node. These two are highly coupled together. They only work together. If you throw this on something else, it's not going to work. Might work by coincidence, but it wasn't intended. It's only intended to work together with these two. So let's hook this together. So you can see that there's a box. This just tells me where. Let's template this. And let me change the background. Okay. This just tells me where the leg is. And up to the hip. It goes up to the hip too. So that's all it does. So let's stick this in. But this is necessary. This box is necessary for the first input into the pants generator patches. So this pant generate patches will generate the patches for the pattern, the sewing patterns for the pants. And then we're going to stick this character. You know what? I'm going to put a null here. Character geometry. Okay, I'm just going to hook this up here. So this, if all goes well, we'll get pants. Let's template the character so we know where everything goes. Okay. So this gives us something basic right away. Now you do have to fiddle around with some of the parameters just to like get something that you like. For example, these pants, let's get a 2 view. Okay, this front view. This is really skinny pants for a really bulky character like this. So it might be a good idea to widen the thighs a bit, which in this node I have thigh width. So you can increase it. Okay, it's a bit slow, you can tell. If you zoom in, this topology is really dense. We don't need that much topology. So let's lower this increase the value for this. This is basically the particle separation, or what was it called? The edge length. We don't need such a huge edge length. So the higher this number is, the lower the resolution. Let's go 0.1. So you can see now we have less topology, less points, and this will run a lot faster. We can always use the Vellum post-process afterwards, and that will do like subdivide it magically, and it performs a lot faster doing that afterwards. But doesn't the remesh oh, thank you. But doesn't the remesh node recompute after every frame? Isn't that an issue? The remesh node. If we have this low enough, I find that it's really fast. Like, okay, let me try this out. Let me turn it up. See, that's pretty fast. It does. You are right. It does remesh it. Well, it's not remeshing it. It's a what is it called? The planar patch. I'm using this planar patch from Curves, which is basically remeshing it though. But if you have a low enough resolution, which is a higher number for this parameter, it performs quite quickly. I need to test this on a lower spec computer though, just to be fair. Okay, let's make this a little wider. Just because his thighs are really large. And okay, and this height, I call this little slit here, which is like the hip height, like the cutting for your hips. I call that the hip height. I didn't know what else to call it. So let's make that a little higher or longer. Okay, I think that's okay. You can also adjust the curve. So this is the curve that cuts this thing here, just to give it a bit of a curvy shape here. Because pants are like, you need room to bend this part inwards underneath the legs. So the curve gives it a better cutting. It's basically a sphere, no, not a sphere, a tube, a cylinder that's stretched, and it's bullying its way to cut this curve. This parameter controls the stretching of that cylinder, which then affects how far you can curve it. So if I go like, let's go with 1. The curve goes inwards. So let's go 1.5 is what I usually like. So the curve goes less. So you have thicker, what do you call it? Thicker feet? A feet hole? I don't know what you call this. The bottom part is a lot. There's more room on the bottom part of the pants. If you go like 6, well, it's going to cut deeper. The curve's going to go deeper in. But this guy has really large feet, so let's go with 1.5. Okay. Now, there's a lot of stuff that you can, there's a lot of stuff that you can also adjust. This is the front hip cut, which is like this part over here, but let me show you the funner stuff first. Let's start sewing it together. So we need the pants generator. So again, these two nodes go together. You need to use them together. So the pants generator goes here. Give it a second. Now this has a lot more inputs. There's pants patches. So I try to label them as to match up as closely as possible. So the clothing patches goes to the pants patches. Front legs, back legs, and there's a character collision. So we need the original character, which is this guy. So let me just go there. Give it a second. Okay. Okay, we don't see anything, which was part of the, oops. Oh, I should save this actually. Let me find, in case it crashes. Okay, so part of the problem was not being able to see the sewing, the seam lines or the sewing lines, because there is a vellum solver embedded inside this HDA node. So I have exposed one of the vellum solver guide nodes, which allows us to see the sewing lines. So let's untemplate this guy. And you can see that the shape of the character has changed as well. So the vellum solver, vellum drape. Give it a second. Okay. Vellum drape here in the draping tab, weld additional, solver, horses. There is an inflation and deflation. Inflation and deflation. Oh, inflate collisions here. These parameters. This one and this one. These two parameters here. Deflation will make your character skinny like this. Because we started out with, this is our character. Very bulky. Once you apply the deflation, it sort of makes him really, really skinny. and that's to apply the seam lines. So it gives the seam lines time to attach to each other. And after the sewing lines are attached, you slowly inflate the character back to its original shape. This makes it a lot easier to create the clothing. Now, it's very important that, so I've exposed the guides out, the sewing guides, so you can actually see what you're doing, because it's important to see the sewing lines and double check that it doesn't intersect with the character, the deflated version of the character. So basically here, these white lines cannot intersect with this character, and you can see this is getting really close. This one line over here is getting really close, and that's the line, that's the sewing line for the one at the top, for this point right here, which is the closest point to the character. What you can do to adjust it a bit, I've given you, so if you go back to the pant generate patches node, you can move it down just a bit. So we'll just push it down, and this creates a bit more room. It gives it a bit of more space and room for the vellum solver to apply the sewing patterns before it starts to intersect with the character. And once it intersects with the character, it's gonna chaos. It's just gonna mess up. It's gonna blow up. One question, a little bit out of topic. How many times you spent on learning Vex until it remains the same level as your English? Oh, that's Vex. Put it this way: if you're struggling with Vex and you want to just like get so familiar with it that it's like your second language, do a really hard project, like totally out of your level. Do a project like that, struggle with it, but brute force it through. After you do that project, you'll find that every other smaller project, like less complex project, will be a lot easier, and you'll find that you've leveled up on your Vex. Try that. But it's very stressful, because that project, you're basically pushing yourself to the limit in a very short time, just to expand your knowledge in Vex. It's sort of like lifting weights. If you lift something really heavy, everything else that you lift that's has a smaller weight value, it will be just a lot super light. That's what I usually do, but it's very stressful. From experience, I can tell you making Tribucket is a good project because it's cancer. Everything simulated, of course. Vex is needed. Sure, go do that. Let's see. Pants here. There's more. Okay, these, let's take a look. Vellum. These 3 outputs are post. Oh, realigned this for me. Okay, vellum post process. So I just wanted to show you these 3 output outlets here match up to the vellum solvers. So I've just exposed. I took the vellum drape. I took this because there's a vellum drape node embedded inside this pants generator. So I just exposed these 3 outlets here. So you can just plug this in here right after it's sewn together. So that's what these 3 outlets here go. So these 3 here, I'll explain what this one is in just a bit. That's for stacking the clothing to get on top of each other, because you don't want your vest to intersect with the pants that's underneath. So that's why I've exposed the clothing collision geometry separately. But we'll get into that just a bit. visualize attachments is what I wanted to show you. This gives you another debugging tool to help you create the clothing patches, so you can adjust these parameters as you see stuff. So you can see it's these dots here. These dots are attaching these pants towards these dots. So it's going to pull these pants up here and then tell the pants to stay, sort of like putting a belt here, and go like, okay, I want you to stay on the character, on these points of the character. And I don't want, otherwise the pants would just fall right down just because gravity is pulling it down. So that's sort of like putting constraints or forces to glue it up on here, like putting a belt on your pants. You can adjust. I've given you pull pants higher. So if you increase that, it'll just go up. Now, these are just constraints. So the constraints don't always pull exactly to this point. So there you can have like a pull pant strength. I believe this is just like the rest length that I've put in. So the smaller the rest length, the more it'll pull it up. But I've noticed that if these patches are too close to the character, there's not enough room to pull it up. So you need to have them fairly far apart from the character to give it room to attach, to give room for these sewing patterns to collapse together. I've exposed out the patches distance, so you can adjust this. This will pull it closer, further, so you can adjust it any way you want. Okay, let's just try and snap this together. So render flag here and just play. Okay, there it goes. Okay. You can see that our hip height is too short in our original pants, like over here. Like this is way too short. So it can't pull it up very high. Let's do something. If you've noticed that the pull up is over here, but we ended up over. I'm trying to look at this. Okay, but we ended up over here. Here and here. So it's quite a difference. Like we're pretty off. But it still looks good. If you're satisfied with this look, then that's fine. If you're satisfied with pants like this, then you're fine. If you want it to pull up higher, you're going to need to increase the hip height. Like this needs to be, it needs to have more room to be physically possible to pull it up like that. The hip height. So pants generate patches, hip height here. Okay, so I've increased it by 2.8, and let's give it a try again. Okay, slightly better. It's a little higher. But if you want it all the way up there, which is ridiculous, is all the way to the chest. This, I think it looks fine for now. Now there is one thing I couldn't really figure out, is how to put like a freeze. The vellum drape. This node here has a freeze at frame. And I couldn't figure out how to do this on my HDA. So in the meantime, you're gonna need like a ton of time shifts. Hopefully I can figure that out in the next release. So what I usually do, drop a time shift, pick the frame that you want, say frame 13. Okay, I like that. And then just drop down time shift. But you have to do it for every single outlet, which is annoying. So I'm gonna paste this here. So this is pasting it to this one. We're linking this parameter to this one, and then we're hooking up to this one. This will go here, this will go here, and then time shift. Paste. Okay, so it's all hooked up. You also need one for the this one, which is the clothing collision. Let me show you what it is first. This just gives you the pants. It's extruded. There's a bit of thickness to it. I've just put it a poly extrude to extrude it just a bit. This will be the new collision geometry for the next. We're going to put a shirt on him. So you want the shirt to be over the pants. You want it to collide. You don't want it to intersect. Let's see. No. Thank you with your suggestion. I'm 15 years old now and I find that I'm starting to lose my... I was actually going to talk about hair generators in just the next. So maybe you'll be interested in that. I was gonna, after I finished demonstrating about the pants, I wanted to really talk about some of the Real Illusions character creator. It won't be a full review. I've noticed that I took a poll on my channel and I noticed a lot of people really were interested in this application, into Real Illusions character creator. This is creating characters really quickly with a click application, like a click solution. You don't have to, like, everything's automated. So the problem is it's quite expensive. Well, the base software is actually not bad. The base software is not too bad. It's 100 and something, but that only gets you the base shape of the character, and then you have to, like, a bunch of add-ons. Each add-on costs money and then does quite add up. That was one of the reasons that inspired me to create this clothing generator. I was going to use it with the Real Illusion character creator, and I think with the combo of the two, I may get nice results. I haven't tried it out yet. We'll see. That will be the next stream. That will be the topic for the next stream. Okay, let's do this. Let's add another time shift. Because I haven't figured out how to put this into the HDA. So this is your clothing collision geometry. Clothing collision geo. Or yeah. Okay, we'll just name it that. Or you know what? Yeah, let's just do that. So this is that. So this is ready to go. Your pants are ready to go. This is like out pants render. Or should be out render pants. So this will make it easier to find in the drop down list. Okay, so this is already done. So what I usually do, now let's put on a shirt. Okay. Shirt. So the shirt is the shirt generator. This is the one with the long sleeves. There's a one where I put t-shirt, which is more like a tank top. So let's do a shirt first, because if we put a tank top underneath, we won't see it. Because the shirt is a long sleeve, it'll cover it all up. The shirt generate patches. So we need to generate the design pattern again. So I'm going to put this lower here. What we need here is the box, tube, and tube arm. This may come familiar for those that have seen my previous, one of the previous tutorials I did for the Vest generator. That was like, I think a few months ago. So that was these two guys. I have been following that same pattern with the vest. So the reason I have, well, you can go watch that video and then it'll probably be more clear why we have a box, a tube, and a tube for the arm. These are just, I use primitive shapes to create the design patterns for me, because it's a lot easier than drawing, because I'm not proficient in drawing. I'm not good at drawing. I use the Boolean node and a bunch of primitive shapes to cut out the design pattern. Here we don't need it because I know where the body parts are, because this is the character generator. I know where they are. Now I just need to tell this guy where it is. So I have this character character gen create prims for Vest Gen. So this was, I started out with the Vest Generator, and then I slowly expanded it to a t-shirt and a tank top. So that's why the naming is a little messed up. So I apologize for the naming. I need to rename this and find like a better way to organize these HDAs. But that's what it is first of all. To get this will identify where the body parts are on the on the body generated. So this works only with this body generator. If you have a character that you downloaded online and bought on a third-party site or something, this will not work. You're gonna have to do it manually. Like, you're gonna have to identify where the body, the torso is, where the arm is. If you want more information on that, on how to use these these clothing generators I've created with third-party models, check out this video here. This, like, you'll see the idea behind it all, the whole workflow. I explain it in more details. I'm not going to do it today though, because the main purpose was to introduce my whole new set of HDAs. Okay, let me show you what we've got. So this creates primitives based on the body generator over here that I've dropped down, this bulky character. No, oh, sorry. I just realized you can actually change the size of the character. There's a lot of stuff you can change here, like the upper arm length, the lower arm, the hands, and stuff like that. That was shown in the last pop-ups live stream, but you can change that. And these the corresponding HDAs should update procedurally, hopefully, without any bugs. It's still in testing, because this is still like version 1. Let's take a look. So this is the box. It identifies where the torso is. Let's take a look at the second one. So let's go like box for the torso, or let's just go torso. This here is, you can see this is weirdly positioned, a cylinder right in the middle. This is for the neckline. This one here, this is for the arm. You can see that there's a cylinder right here. It's to identify where the arm is. Sure, arm. And we have another one here, visualize shapes. All I did here was so you can see all the shapes together. So it's just handy to see all of them together. And that's what the last one is for. It's only for debugging purposes. You don't need to use this for anything. Now let's hook it up to the shirt generate patches. Torso, box, tube. I'm trying to label these so they have matching labels, so you know how to connect them together. It's usually the first 3 to the first 3. Let's see. Sorry, a few questions. Where did you learn this, and do you keep the streams on YouTube? Do you have a Discord server? I used to have a Discord server, but I closed it down like I think a year ago. I do intend to restart it up when I start my Patreon, but soon. Super busy lately, maybe a couple months from now. Streams on YouTube. Yeah, the streams are on my channel. Let's see. I don't like it's there. Oh, I have to search myself. Don't remember. Oh, here it is. Okay. Come here. So they're here. This one, they're usually labeled pop-up live streams. If you search live streams, they'll come up as well. The reason why I have pop-up is that pop-up is the ones that I don't give much notification like ahead of time. Usually like I think today's live stream I just announced it this morning. Or yesterday, actually. I announced it yesterday with this teaser video. Sometimes, usually if I have like the really, really official, more practiced live streams with tutorials, like really detailed tutorials, those take a long time to prepare. So those I would announce at least 3 days in advance. 3 days to a week. These pop-up ones are like announced a couple hours ahead of time. That's it. So just come here. I believe I have a playlist too. Public live stream. These ones. This playlist will give you all the live streams. Okay, let's go back to this. Let's ghost that. Okay, let me change this back. I think that's better, maybe. Okay, you can see that this is really dense topology again. So I'm gonna lower this a little bit, a lot actually, 0.1. So that's much better. Oh, I think I should have kept the black, dark background. Okay, that's a lot better. Okay, so you can see that you get the patches right now. Now you're like, this looks weird, right? What is this? Because it looks like a cross. It's actually not. Let's patch. If you come here, patches, patch alignment. This is the 0. I tried to put like a bit of notes here so it's handy. This one is putting the patches side by side. This just makes it easier for you to UV. Right now, I'll show you the UVing a little later. Right now, I'll just keep it at 1. This really should have been a check mark, but I intend to add more different alignments, so that's why it's a slider. So this is really what it is, the patches. Now again, this looks really close. If you look, like, it's almost touching the belly, which is not something I prefer. Oh, this is actually intersecting it too. Just a teeny little bit is showing up there. So I'm gonna move it further apart. Patches, shirt generate patches node, distance here. Just a little bit further, just to give it room so the vellum drape will have room to simulate the seam lines. Now, okay, that looks good for now. Oh, sleeve distance. You can adjust the sleeve distance, which is just this, the length. Oh, I think I forgot to hook this. See, this is what I mean about bugs. Okay, I will double check that after the stream. Shirt generate shirt generate is what I need, which goes together with the shirt generate patches. Now again, this is clothing patches to clothing patches. It's usually the first 3 inputs. Give it a second. Oh, I think I forgot to reset the timeline. Okay, let's reset the timeline. Okay, that didn't work out. See? It's scrunching all the way in. It's like it's ignoring the character. It's just colliding right into it. And that is because, well, let's take a look at our collision geometry, because that will be what defines how the clothing collides. We've actually input this. Visualize patches. So you can see the 3rd input for my generate patches node for this node here, which generates the pattern. The 3rd input is not the usual collision geometry that we're looking for. So these two do not match up. That doesn't go there. This is only here so you can visualize, to help you visualize. Oh, sorry. Only for debugging purposes, so you can adjust the patches here. I've exposed that out just because if you come here, you see this. You don't see the arm placement, so this helps you sort of see what I'm trying to do, where this tube was cutting in, if that helps or not. Now, the collision geometry. Your first assumption would be to hook in the character geometry, right? This guy. So let's try that. Now, instead of crisscrossing lines, like, I don't want to drag that all the way down here. I'm going to put an object merge. Character geo here into geometry. So this gives it that. Let's give it a blue. Okay. That's the character. Let's hook it up here. Collision geometry. Generate. Let's give it a try. Play. Okay, still not working. Let's take a look. Now, I've exposed out the seam lines for this generator as well. So we can take a look. This one. This. And this. Seam lines, this here. So just gonna do this. Maybe I should not template that. Okay, let's do this. Now it just completely ignores the character. I think my inflation is way too much. You can see that there's nothing left here. There's literally nothing left. Shirt generates. Okay, let's take in. Now this is the part where I want to go back to the pants generator here. Now I had exposed the pants and it extruded it out. The reason behind that is because I want to combine the pants and the character. So this is the character and this is the pants. Combine these two together. So I have new collision. I have an updated collision geometry. Now I want to feed it into the next step, which is creating the shirt, because I want the shirt to collide with the pants and the body. So I have to combine those two, and then I'm going to feed it in here instead of using this guy. Oh, let's just ignore it. Put it in. Okay, there you go. Let's take a look at the seam lines first. The seam lines are a lot better. I'm trying to expand this window. Sorry, can't get the mouse in the right position. Okay, you can see that the deflation has shrunk the character very, very small. You can see that. Just enough for these seam lines to go through. So let me take off the template so you can get a better look. Okay, this is what it looks now. This is what the vellum drape simulator or solver is seeing. So it's important that these seam lines do not intersect with the body. This is getting close right here. What you can do is come over here to the generate shirt. Oh, I didn't expose the deflation. So, okay, I will expose the deflation parameter so you can actually deflate this even more. I'll expose that out. I actually have to make a note of all this. Okay, so expose deflation parameter. What was the other one? Okay, I'll go over I'll rewatch the stream to figure that out. Oh, right, I forgot to hook up the sleeve distance. Distance isn't hooked. Okay, let's go here. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna use this one just because I don't want to keep scrolling all the way up there to hit the template. This, right, it is touching this just a bit to this. It's intersecting it just a bit. So what we can do right now as a workaround is to create the patches a little bit more. It's different. In order to sort of fiddle around with the design. Like I want a different design for this shirt. In the pants, we usually just go to the pants, generate patches, and there's a bunch of parameters we can tweak, right? This one is a little different because I need these primitive geometries that are created to feed into the patches. The patches, this patches node becomes a lot simpler. And instead, if you want a different patches, like here, I'm going to make this a little wider. What we can do is modify the geometry right here. I'm just going to like modify this tube right, the arm tube. I'm going to do this on the center. So the pivot is going to be onto the center of this arm tube. This arm tube over here. Maybe template this. Okay, that's better. And let's make the arm shorter, I guess. Yeah, here we go, shorter. Okay. It should be longer because it's intersecting. Right. Scale it. Let's take a look. That helps. It's not helping because this part is getting longer, but it's not moving. Like it's still intersecting over here. So we can still fiddle around with this. Let's just take that out. And let's move the torso up. The torso is the box. This is like the box. That's like the middle part of the thing. So let's try and move this up. Put the template on the guides. There you go. So I just moved it up. And that's a nice workaround. Now, for now, I will expose the deflation parameter so we can shrink this even more. And hopefully that'll help a lot better. Okay, let's do that. Okay, let's do 13 frames. All right, let's stop right there. And again, we have to do all that time shift. I do apologize for that. Haven't figured out how to automate this part. Okay, well, another one, okay. Second one, third one. This is clothing collision, okay. Shift it over. Okay, film post process. You're gonna take all three of these. Oh, darn. Okay. Let's take a look what this looks like with the pants so far, so you can get an idea of what I'm trying to do. Render shirt. Merge the pants and the shirt. Okay, let's take a look. So this is nicely colliding with each other. Now to make this a bit more easy to see if it's colliding, let's color this. Because then it visually it helps a lot better. Let's do this red and green. Okay. So this is nicely positioned. It's not intersecting, which is what I'm looking for. And if you're concerned with the topology, because this is really low topology, you can always come to the vellum post process. That's why I exposed all three outputs, which is like the vellum geometry, vellum constraints, and the vellum collision geometry, like these, so you can plug it into the vellum post process and come over here to subdivisions, camel clerk, one subdivision level, camel clerk. Okay, there you go, and there you go. Okay, let's add a tank top first. So we can keep using this method and stacking on top of each other. Let's do this. The tank top. The tank top is actually called a t-shirt. It was supposed to be a t-shirt, but then it looked like a tank top, so I just went with it because I was running out of time when I was implementing. These generators took forever to implement. Now, again, I need the t-shirt or the tank top. It requires the same outputs, the box, the tube, and the tube for the arm. I need to know where those body parts are. So we can use the same character gen prim for vest, like this same node. So I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to drag it over. Well, I didn't need this. Let me just delete that. Okay, let's connect this. Give it a second. I forgot to reset the timeline. Okay, here. So again, this looks weird, doesn't it? I will get into why I've aligned it like this. For right now, let's just switch it to 1. And this is really dense topology again. So let's do 0.1. Okay, that'll make the performance, improve the performance much more. Okay, so there's not much to this. Let me take a look at the template, the character. Okay, again, it's really close. That gets me worried. So let's make it, increase the distance a bit. I should just make this the default. The default value. I should just increase the default value for the distance. But okay, that's maybe later. This, now let's see. So the t-shirt generator is actually reusing the vest generator. So I don't have a separate generator for these. The shirt generate patches had a corresponding shirt generator. The pants generate patches had a corresponding pants generator pair. Like these are in pair. But this t-shirt generator, if I go like t-shirt, there is no generator for the patches. That's because I reused the vest generator. So the vest has the generate patches over here, and it has the vest generate. So they go hand to hand together. I reused this generator for the t-shirt just because it worked nicely. Let's connect this, and remember the last, because we're stacking clothing on top of each other. I can't use this one, and also this is the visualize patches. So if I put a node down here, this is only to help you debug. So you can see the patches here. Usually we would take this character geometry and just shove it into here, right? For the collision geometry. But now we have clothing. So this guy's actually wearing stuff. So let's go back to the shirt. And let's stack on top of it. So I'm going to merge this character, this collision geometry, which is the character with the pants, and combine it with the shirt, which is just the shirt with a bit of thickness. I've poly extruded it. So let's merge that together, and we got new collision geometry. Now we're going to feed this new collision geometry into the vest generator, which is working well with the t-shirt. So this is actually a t-shirt generator. Sorry, I'm only using this because I don't want to grab this guy over here. So he's just nice and handy over here. Okay, let's sew this guy together. Oh, again, let me just show you the seam lines. So this is the seam lines. Okay, looks good. Deflation looks good. Oh, well, it's getting a little tight over here, but it's okay. There's still room. I will expose that deflation parameter. Okay, let's take a look. Let's go. Okay, that looks good. And again, we have that annoying time shift. The worst is that this time shift starts caching stuff as well, which made it really hard to create something to embed a time shift inside my HDAs, because these time shifts when it starts caching stuff. It really messes up when you hook the wrong input into the HDA. It'll just cache the previous input. So that's one of the main reasons why I didn't embed the time shift. One more. Goes here, goes here. Okay. Now let's put down a vellum post process. Here, here. That's the first three. So remember, the first three outputs of the generator are the vellum geometry, vellum constraints, and the vellum collision geometry. So those go straight chains into the vellum nodes. This one is the collision geometry just for the cloth. This allows you to stack stuff together, stack clothing together. What we can do is we can combine this with this. Okay. Yeah, there you go. We can add another color to the shirt. I don't know. Cyan. Sure. Here, camel clerk. Okay, there you go. Smooth that. There you go. Now you can also do one for the vest. You know what? I'll just show the vest as well, just because we're almost done. And then I want to show you the UVs. So the vest uses this same geometry again. Oh, there is one thing I want to show. Here, we had copied this part from the previous one. This is the tank top. This is the shirt, the one with the long sleeve shirt. So we copied this prep work, these prep nodes onto and reused it for the tank top. What we can do, it doesn't have to be exact. It doesn't have to be exactly the same. If we want a different tank top, like slightly different than the shirt, like the neckline. Say I want the neckline to be shorter. I don't know. We can do that. Just added a transform here. I'm gonna make the neckline. And I want to move it. I want my pivot to be in the center of this cylinder. So I want to shape everything in there. Oh, here. Okay, there's the neckline. Okay, let's do that. It looks weird, but I needed something different to illustrate. Okay, so this is something else slightly different. Okay. Let's see how it looks like. Merge. Oh, it's caching. See, this is what I mean by caching. These time shifts are caching. If you come here, it's showing that, right? So you have to like ignore it, unignore it. Okay. To force this time shift to update. I don't know why it does that. Ignore, update. I have to do that for every single one. And you can't highlight. You can't do it all at once. If you go like this and ignore and toggle ignore, it doesn't work. You have to do it one at a time. Okay, there it goes. There we go. So you have something slightly different. Oh, now it's covering the thing. It's covering the shirt underneath completely. Okay, that's okay. What we can do is stretch it. Here it goes. Oh, but it's time. The time shift is caching. So the caching time shift is really annoying. It's just cooking. Okay, that was. It's still too low. So the green long sleeve shirt is all the way down here. I wanted you to see that it's stacking on top of each other, but it's okay. Okay, let's copy this and move it over again. Because the vest reuses the same thing. Reuses the same prep nodes. Let's go. Vest. Generate patches. Let me take a look at some of the comments. I think I missed a lot. There's lots of great content on the channel, way more paid than paid courses. Thanks for doing this. Oh, you're welcome. Do you know any tutorials on RBD vellum multi-solving? Oh, I have one. It's not really multi-solving though, because the vellum and the RBD, the vellum solver and the RBD solver don't play that well together. I did create a tutorial on that. Well, give me 1 second so I can find it. RBD vellum. This one. Vellum and RBD interaction. So this is a fake interaction. Now, be aware, this is a little complex. I tried to simplify it as much as possible. I did it in three to four phases. So it requires you to create the RBD simulation first, and then create, well, you create your vellum simulation, then you create your RBD simulation, then you feed in part of the, if I remember correctly, part of the vellum into the RBD first, so you can get an estimated environment, collision geometry for the RBD. So it estimates that, and then you feed it in vice versa again. So it's a little complicated. It's not a true interaction. The vellum solver and the RBD solver don't play that great together, or at least I don't know how to make them work together. Like, it doesn't work with the multi-solver. It's the same thing with RBD and flip simulations. You can use the RBD to affect the flip, but I can't do it vice versa. So sometimes the multi-solver confuses me when stuff like that. It works one way, but it doesn't work the other way. I'm guessing the vellum at least for the vellum solver, it doesn't work for that. It's because the vellum solver came out many years after the RBD. Like, RBD's always existed in Houdini, but vellum is quite new. I believe it came in Houdini 16. I'm not sure. I don't quite remember. But that came many years after. So I'm guessing the system behind it, behind the scenes, it's probably totally different compared to the RBD. That's just my guess. That's a total guess. Hey Bubbles, how would you make rigid parts of the clothes, like belts, buckle? If you remember the presentation, Vellum 18.5, there was a character with a backpack with all rigid details. I actually don't remember. But I do have a belts generator. I don't know if you're interested in that. I'm not sure if maybe we watched the same thing. Maybe it was this that you were talking about. This thing? I'm not sure. Maybe. So, I'm not sure if this is what you were. So I created a belts generator for this. I was planning to expand the belts generator so it would do like a tie, a bow tie and stuff, but I don't know how to do a tie. I watched a lot of videos on how to make a tie, and I still don't know how to make a tie. I might revisit the tie a little later. I might even do a bow tie. That seems a lot easier. Yeah, you can check this out. Oops. came since 17. Oh, the vellum. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. Okay, let's hook this up. So the vest. The vest is the last thing I have. Let's finish this. Arm. Give it a second. Okay, again, it has that weird alignment, right? I'm getting to it. I will get to the weird patching alignment. Let's flip it to the first, the next alignment. So you can choose what alignment you want the patches to be in. I will explain why the weird alignment later. Vest patch. Okay, there's not much I want to do here. Okay, here you can visualize the seams again. Just to double check. Visualize. Oh, this is visualize patches. Sorry. This is visualize patches, which is fine. Vest generate. So now we're going to throw on the corresponding generator. Attach this, and then the collision geometry. Again, we want to merge the previous t-shirt one, which is this collision, and this new t-shirt. Merge this together to create a whole new collision geometry. That goes in here, collision geometry for the vest. Give it 1 second. Come on. Oh, you know why it's taking so long? Because I forgot to lower the resolution. Here, in the vest generate patches, let's lower this to 0.1. Okay, now we have our nice triangles. Large, nice triangles. Okay, can you pin an RBD object to a vellum sim and let loose at a certain point in order to carry the momentum? Yes and no. There is because if you are, say you're dropping down, let's take the example of the one I had here. Let me look it up. Vellum RBD. I'm just gonna look it up because I don't remember. I have these little gift animations. I think. Oh, it's loading. Oh, Squarespace. Oh, I didn't put. Oh, here it is. So if you're gonna drop stuff down. Oh, I didn't put gift animations here. So you're gonna drop something down from the top onto like onto a cloth, the vellum cloth. The problem is the RBD is gonna interpret the cloth as a static, as a rigid body object. So you won't have that soft body to bounce on. So if you drop RBD pieces, like pieces of rocks on a cloth, it will just bounce off like it's a ground, like it's a flat plane. Like it's not going to give you feedback. And in order to estimate that feedback, what I do is I drop pieces of rocks. First, I drop the cloth down. So you have this fluffy cloth animation that's floating in the air. Then I bake it out, or I cache it out, and now I have a static animation. And that's what these first 3 phases are doing. The first phase, you have your initial like vellum simulation. Then you convert that vellum simulation into a static geometry. And that's what that static geometry is, what the RBD simulation understands. It needs something concrete. If it's not concrete, it goes like, I don't understand, I can't compute. Or I'm just saying, I don't know what happens behind the scenes, but I would imagine it's confused. Then the RBD simulation, if you convert the vellum into a static animation, then the RBD can understand it more easily. And it goes like, okay, you're a static animation, because we've done it many. Go to oops, dot network, and you go like static object, you can feed in a static animation by checking this check mark here. Use deforming geometry. This will update, like you can actually feed in animation into it. And once you have an animated vellum cloth, you feed it back into the RBD. The RBD then drop your rocks onto the cloth. It'll have, it sort of fools it into going like, okay, this is what the cloth may look like when you're gonna bounce off of it. So it estimates it and then it bounces off of it. Then you get an estimated RBD simulation, and then you do it one more time. You actually do it 2 more times, 3 and 4, and then that creates a more realistic approach. You can keep iterating through it, and then you get closer and closer to a true interaction. So this is faking it all, just because I can't get the 2 RBD simulation, RBD solver and the vellum solver to work together. So you have to do it in steps. The vest. Okay, let's take a look what's happening here. Let's take a look. Visualize seams. Oh. This one? Okay, I don't think I have this in the right, hooked up correctly. So there's another bug. I gotta fix the vest generator. So the vest generator is a little screwed. Visualize seams. Okay, so this, you can't visualize the seams because I think I have a bug somewhere. I must have hooked up the wrong. You know what? Let's do this right now. I might regret debugging on air, but let's give it a try. Seams here. Why won't you give me the seams? Vellum drape. Okay. Looks okay. No, it is right. Oh, there it is. Oh, I had to reset. It was caching something. Oh, darn. Okay. So I had to reset the timeline. Okay, it was caching something else. There's your thing. So you know what? I will add a time shift inside that. So then we will always see the seams. Okay, there's the seams. Looks good. There's the deflated. It is getting a little close on the arm. But I would say that's okay. Play it. It is getting a little touchy here though. Visualize collision. Let's see if we can. Primitives. I should add something here so we can. Oh, you know what? It's probably the distance. It's too close. Okay. Let's do this again. So that's why it might have been that. Let me see. Yeah, that was it. So this is one of the reasons why you need more room between the collision geometry and your clothing patches. So I'm just going to redo that back to 1. So the clothing patches are super close. They're almost touching the body of the geometry. So you want a bit more room. I'm going to separate it. And once, if you don't do that, you can see that it starts to go crazy here. It gets confused because there's not enough room for it to compute, and it just starts to intersect with the geometry, with the collision geometry. So let's go back here and increase this, rerun this vest generator, and looks a lot better. Okay, now we have that annoying time shift. Now there is one more thing I wanted to show you is how to UV them together. Oh, sorry. So just stay with me just for a little longer. Vellum constraints. This is the vellum collision geometry. This is clothing. Okay, now vellum post process. This camel clerk. Okay, then we can combine this over here. Now, I did it in the order of pants, shirt, t-shirt, tank top, whatever, and vest. You don't have to stack it up in this order. The reason why I did it in that order is because I wanted to show you that they're stacking on top of each other. The problem is if I stack the shirt, the long sleeve shirt on top of the vest, it covers up the entire vest. So it doesn't illustrate what I was trying to show you. But you don't have to stack it in this order. So if you have something, I don't know, usually the tank top would be inside. So if that's what you want, you can do that in a different order. You can stack it in whatever order you want. Now I want to show you the UVs. So the pants here, the pants is the only one that is procedurally UV'd automatically. The other one, you need a bit of work, not much. You just have to add one node. But let me show you the UVs of the pants. Labs, UVs. One. Okay, so we have nice UVs for this guy. Now the UVs survive all the way out here. So even if I go down here, it's still here. If I take this and I look at the UVs down here, the pants are still there. Oh, let me get rid of the color now. Okay, so the pants have UVs, but none of the other ones have UVs. We're going to add UVs for the shirts. Let's come over here. Now, this is where I can explain why the weird flat alignment. Let's go over here. If I don't align this side by side like this, like if I align it like this, and I throw in a UV project, okay. Oh, one here. UV project. Okay, let's initialize this to XY plane. This one, right? Oh, there it is. Okay, so there's your UVs, which is fine. Let's take a look what it looks like here. UVs. They're placed right on top of each other. And you're going to have a seam right up here on all the edges, which is something that I had talked about in the previous live stream for the vellum vest. If I do align this like on top of each other, this one like this, you can have a seamless edge, seamless UVs on the top here, just because they're attached. They're laid right on top of each other. You can see that the O and the 1, these squares, they're going right through. Like it's nice. Or we can throw in a mandolin to illustrate this a bit better. Okay. It is repeating just because it's a different UV square. UV layout. None. Symmetry fixed. You know what? Let me do a UV transform. Okay, there we go. Okay, now the mandolin will fit a lot better in there. Somewhere here. Okay, there you go. There you have a nice seamless mandolin in here. Which, let's feed it all the way in here. So we're going to feed in this UV into this clothing patch over here. So let me move this over. The clothing patch. Then the UVs will go through the generator. You do have to regenerate it because we've added UVs in between. So the UV goes in between the generate patches and the generator here. It goes in between here, despite all these crisscrossing lines. Let me take this out a little bit more clear. Let me take this and I want to show you what it looks like. So this way will give you nice UVs. Without aligning it like this will give you seamless UVs on this edge at least. But it won't save you from these edges, like the ones on the torso. Only the sleeves on the top of the sleeves. In the future, I might have different, like more different alignments like these to expand how to align this. So if you really wanted no seams on the bottom, perhaps, like I would have different ways of aligning it so you can easily UV it with the UV project. Okay. There you go. Now we have nice UVs for the long sleeve shirt. So you do the same thing for the other t-shirt and the vest. If we just come here, remember to flip this to, oh, this is parallel, so flip back to 1. So this is side by side. So you're not going to have, it'll be seamless on the side. UV project. Here, let me do that. There you go. Nice UVs. So there's a seamless, at least one edge has seamless. The other edge, yeah, you can only do one edge. You can't circle around. This is because this is the t-shirt. So let's take this and let's move. Oh, I already have it there. Okay, let's take it over here. Okay, it's just gonna recook. Oh, welcome, dead pianist. This is Death Note, right? Your avatar. Come over here. Visualize. There you go. I'm gonna have to do it one more time over here. UV project. This 0. Okay. So again, this is the best one because this is the vest. I want to. Yeah, okay. Template that guy. So the vest works the best, just because this is the zipper line of the vest is here, so it's like open up. In the front, and then this part which makes it possible to take this patch and flip it over here to attach it over to the back patch and do the same thing, and then you get this. So it flips, I rotate the front patches to the back, so it aligns perfectly like this. And then when you apply the UV project, on the XY plane, which is the horizontal up-down plane. Initialize it. Touch it here. And rerun the generator. Okay, I think that's enough. Let's see. Okay, let's go here. UVs. There you go. So then you have nice UVs for all of them. So when you apply you can export this out and stick it into your favorite texturing application like Painter, Substance Painter, or Blender, or I don't know, any other texturing apps. You can use FBX ROP, whatever, Olympic, I think Olympic ROP works too. I'm not sure if it attaches the UVs with it for Olympic, but FBX definitely does. Okay. So, that turned out a lot longer than I thought. Let's see. So we've covered, so I'm gonna make all of these guys available, and as I had announced previously, actually I don't remember what I had announced. Just gonna dig the video clip back up. Now remember, this. So the Perk 1 members will have the updated vest. I had released the vest generator previously, but I've done major updates to it. And the tank top, which is like the t-shirt, which is this one. Let me put the colors back on. So, which is this gray one here. Tank top is the blue, so the cyan one, and the vest, the gray one here. So that's what the Perk 1 members will get. The Perk 2 members will get everything, just all of them. Just because I haven't had time, I spent most of my time on the HDAs, and I haven't had much time to edit videos for the Perk 2 members, so hopefully this will be compensating that. I had thought that whole demonstration would be a lot faster, so I would have time to actually demo how you would take this, all these clothing geometries, and throw it into Substance texture it. But we're running beyond an hour and a half, and my brain starts to break down at an hour and a half. I will have an upcoming future live stream where I show you how you can apply these clothing creations on Real Illusion's character creator application. I think that would be really exciting, just because Real Illusion's characters can generate really high quality characters really easily too. I'm not sure if it'll work with my generator, so I need to do some testing. But I think that'll be fun. Epic Mega Jam. Another note. Epic's Unreal Epic's Mega Jam is coming up next week. I don't know if anyone's going to be joining, but that was one of the rush to get these generators out as quickly as possible as well. So people, I'm not sure if you can use these HDA generators as part of the competition, as part of the hackathon, but I believe you're allowed, because in their instructions they do say that you can use assets that you have, and this is a Houdini digital asset. That's what the HDA is all about. So as long as you all art assets in the game must have material other than default material. As long as you Sourced non-original assets are allowed, but not be reviewed and scored. I don't understand what they mean by non-original. So I guess everyone else can use it but me. I will, like, you do have to, like, declare it. I'm guessing that you have to make it explicit, like, this is an asset that I used to generate this for the competition. I'm guessing you'll have, like, footnotes. I have enrolled in the competition before, and they do give you, like, a digital form where you can fill in all this stuff. They do ask you if you have used external sources, and you can list this as one of them and give it a try. The worst case is that you know, they'll just not count you. I'm gonna try and email them, maybe, if they, I don't know if they'll respond, and ask them if we can use my assets. I am planning to use them for the competition, so I would like clarity on this. All right, so I think I'm gonna cut this. I'm gonna cut the live stream right, end the live stream right here. I did plan on talking more about this stuff, how you can apply it. I just didn't know the demonstration would be so long. It was a lot longer than I anticipated. Cool. So look forward into an update into my community tab. That's where I'm going to be releasing all the details where you can download the HDA. It'll probably be released on my blog, but I'll have details like the passwords and the links where you can find it on my community tab. So that's like here. So it'll be, all the important stuff will be here. So just stay tuned to that. Check it in a couple of days. Hopefully I'll have it out by tomorrow, but if I do want to fix some of these bugs first, this list of bugs, and before I release it. And this will be a version 1 release, so there's many more improvements to be made on this. This is like a very simplified geometry to get you going for simple clothing. I intend to put like accessories, zippers, buttons, bow ties, pockets, who knows. Let's try this. Awesome. So I'll be releasing it in a couple of days. Tomorrow, hopefully. Cool. Including the body generator as well, because that's not been released yet. I really wanted to do the randomizing generator on top of this character, on top of the body generator, but I never got enough time for it. So that may be the next round of updates. All right, so thank you for joining me today, and thank you for joining for a really long stream. So thank you all for that made it to the end. If you didn't, that's okay. You can always do the replay. That's fine. If you have any questions, just shoot it in the comments. So I respond pretty quickly, but sometimes I do have delays in the reply. So just shoot it in the comments. I'll get to it when I see it. And happy Houdini.